One adult star cost Jennifer Lopez her relationship with one of the most successful baseball players.
Jennifer Lopez and Alex Rodriguez have broken up.
Another adult star claimed that a baseball star impregnated her, and another one exposed how she was used by sports agents to lure baseball players for financial gain. These MLB players had secret relationships with adult stars, but how these flings were exposed will shock you, starting with Alex Rodriguez. Alexander Emmanuel Rodriguez, born July 27, 1975 in New York City, had completed one of the most statistically impressive yet controversial careers in baseball history by 2019. His 696 career home runs, 14 All-Star selections, and 3 MVP awards had cemented his legacy as one of the game's greatest players, though his achievements were forever tainted by his involvement in performance-enhancing drug scandals. Following his retirement in 2016, Rodriguez had successfully transitioned into broadcasting, business ventures, and a high-profile romantic relationship that had captured the attention of entertainment media worldwide. In early 2019, Rodriguez was engaged to Jennifer Lopez, the global entertainment icon known for her success in music, film, and television.
That was the best show I've ever seen.
No.
The best.
Really?
I mean, you were on fire.
Their relationship had been a media darling story, combining Rodriguez's sports celebrity with Lopez's entertainment industry influence to create one of the most followed celebrity couples of the era. The engagement, announced in March 2019 with a stunning $3.5 million diamond ring during a romantic holiday in the Bahamas, was widely celebrated as a fairy tale union between two successful individuals who had found love later in life. However, this picture-perfect narrative was dramatically complicated by allegations that emerged from an unexpected source. Zoe Gregory, a 44-year-old British former Playboy playmate who had moved to Los Angeles in 1998, came forward with claims about alleged inappropriate communications with Rodriguez. Gregory, who had lived at the Playboy mansion for 5 years and had appeared in adult content under the alias Robin Banks before transitioning to work as a fitness trainer, possessed a background that made her allegations both sensational and controversial. Gregory's allegations, first detailed in an exclusive interview with The Sun on March 26, 2019, claimed that Rodriguez had initiated contact with her on Boxing Day 2018, sending a series of sexually explicit messages over the following weeks. The timing of these alleged interactions was particularly damaging, as they supposedly occurred just weeks before Rodriguez's proposal to Lopez, suggesting a pattern of infidelity during what should have been the most committed period of their relationship. The specific content of the alleged messages, as reported by Gregory, painted a picture of Rodriguez as someone seeking extramarital sexual encounters with multiple partners. According to her claims, Rodriguez sent messages including, "Are you still thinking of your 3 names of fun girls for us?" and inquiries about her friend's willingness to participate, such as, "She hot, fun, how many times have you been with her?" These alleged communications suggested not just infidelity, but a desire for group sexual encounters that would represent a significant betrayal of his relationship with Lopez. Perhaps most damaging to Rodriguez's reputation was Gregory's claim that he had sent explicit photographic content. She alleged that Rodriguez sent a picture of his penis, escalating the nature of their supposed communication beyond text messages into visual sexual content. This allegation, if true, would represent a serious breach of appropriate behavior and potentially constitute sexual harassment. Gregory's motivations for coming forward appeared to be rooted in concern for Lopez rather than personal gain or revenge against Rodriguez. She expressed sympathy for Lopez, stating, "J-Lo is amazing and she doesn't deserve this. While getting ready to marry her, he was asking me for sex videos, demanding we hook up, and asking me to make arrangements with other girls." This framing of her revelations as protective rather than vindictive added a layer of credibility to her claims, though it also raised questions about her timing and methods. To substantiate her explosive allegations, Gregory provided screenshots of WhatsApp messages to media outlets, as reported by sources including Larry Brown Sports. These screenshots were purported to show Rodriguez's requests for sexual encounters and arrangements with multiple women, adding what appeared to be concrete evidence to support her narrative. However, the authenticity of these screenshots was never independently verified by digital forensics experts or acknowledged by Rodriguez's representatives. The response from Rodriguez's camp was notably limited and indirect. Reports indicated that Rodriguez's friends dismissed the accusations, asserting that he had never met Gregory and suggesting she was seeking media attention. However, this denial came through unnamed sources rather than official statements from Rodriguez himself or his official representatives, leaving the public without a direct, authoritative rebuttal to Gregory's claims. Neither Rodriguez nor Lopez issued public statements directly addressing Gregory's specific allegations, a silence that fueled speculation and media coverage. Lopez was was reported by Us Weekly, to trust Rodriguez and not let cheating rumors bother her, though this was in the context of earlier allegations rather than specifically Gregory's claims. This pattern of non-response suggested either a strategy of not dignifying the allegations with official comment or an attempt to avoid further media attention. The allegations gained additional context from Rodriguez's romantic history, which included previous infidelity controversies. His first marriage had ended in divorce, partly due to extramarital affairs, as noted in various media reports, creating a pattern that made Gregory's allegations seem more plausible to some observers. Additionally, around the same time, former MLB player Jose Canseco had made separate allegations about Rodriguez's fidelity, though those claims were also denied. Gregory offered to provide additional evidence to Lopez directly, stating, "If J-Lo wants evidence, she can contact me," as reported in Daily Mail coverage, but there is no public record of Lopez taking up this offer. This invitation suggested that Gregory possessed additional evidence beyond what she had already shared with media outlets, though the nature and extent of such evidence remains unknown. The long-term impact of these allegations on Rodriguez and Lopez's relationship remains unclear, though their eventual separation in 2021 occurred without any direct confirmation that Gregory's claims played a role.
Jennifer Lopez and Alex Rodriguez have broken up after a 2-year engagement. 4 years of dating, they officially called it quits.
The couple called off their wedding plans and ended their engagement, though they cited other factors and never publicly connected their breakup to the cheating allegations from any source. Barry Bonds. Barry Lamar Bonds, born July 24, 1964, in Riverside, California, was already establishing himself as one of baseball's most formidable players. With what would eventually become 762 career home runs and a single-season record of 73 home runs in 2001, Bonds was a force of nature on the baseball diamond. But in November 1994, his personal life became front-page news for reasons that had nothing to do with his athletic prowess. Jennifer Peace, known professionally as Devon Shire, filed a paternity lawsuit against Bonds in Los Angeles Superior Court, claiming he was the father of her unborn child. Peace, a 23-year-old pornographic film actress, was already a figure of controversy herself, with connections to high-profile individuals including Al Cowlings, who was linked to the O.J. Simpson trial that was dominating headlines at the same time. The timing of this lawsuit couldn't have been more complicated for Bonds. He was simultaneously navigating a contentious divorce from his first wife, Suzanne Margaret Branco, a process that had been ongoing since their separation in May 1994 after 6 years of marriage. The divorce proceedings themselves were contentious, involving disputes over a prenuptial agreement that had been signed back in 1988. What made this paternity case particularly explosive was the immediate acknowledgement from Bonds' legal team. His lawyer admitted that Bonds had indeed had a sexual encounter with Peace, but questioned the circumstances surrounding the pregnancy. The legal team suggested that Peace was aware she was ovulating at the time of their encounter, implying a level of intentionality that added another layer of complexity to an already messy situation. The media circus that followed was intense. Peace's background as an adult film actress made her a target for both sensationalist coverage and skepticism from industry peers. Debbie Diamond, another adult film actress, criticized Peace, suggesting she was smearing friends and associates, including those connected to the O.J. Simpson trial, which added to the tabloid interest surrounding the case. By April 1995, the case was still pending, with Bonds appearing remarkably unconcerned about the ongoing legal battle. In interviews, he stated matter-of-factly, "A lot of guys get affected by bad press. Me, it's every day, so it doesn't matter." This response demonstrated either incredible resilience or a troubling acceptance of controversy as a normal part of his existence. What makes this case particularly intriguing from a historical perspective is what didn't happen next. Despite extensive searches through news archives, court records, and biographical sources, no public information details the final outcome of the paternity suit. This absence of information is telling in itself, suggesting that the case was either settled privately, dismissed, or resulted in a negative paternity test that was never publicly disclosed. The evidence supporting the likelihood that Bonds was not found to be the father is compelling when we examine his recognized family structure. Bonds has 3 publicly acknowledged children, Nikolai and Shikari with his first wife Suzanne Branco, and Aisha Lynn with his second wife Liz Watson. This consistent family narrative across across multiple biographical sources, including Wikipedia and MLB.com, contains no mention of any child with Jennifer Peace. The relationship between Bonds and Peace appears to have been limited to this single legal dispute, with no evidence of any broader personal connection or ongoing relationship. The controversy surrounding Peace's claims, including industry skepticism and her connections to other high-profile figures, adds complexity to the narrative, but without court documents or official statements, the exact resolution remains speculative. Melki Cabrera. Melki Cabrera, born on August 11, 1984, in Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic, had built a respectable career playing for teams like the New York Yankees, Atlanta Braves, and San Francisco Giants. Mary Carey, born Mary Ellen Cook on June 15, 1980, in Cleveland, Ohio, had gained fame not only as an adult film actress, but also as a surprisingly serious political figure, having run as an independent candidate in the 2003 California gubernatorial recall election, where she placed 10th among 135 candidates. The relationship between Cabrera and Carey was brief, reportedly lasting from May to June 2009, but what made it legendary was a series of videos that emerged from their interaction. The most notorious of these was a hotel room interview that would become the stuff of internet legend and sports gossip forums for years to come. The video showed Carey, dressed in a robe, interviewing Cabrera while he casually ate peanuts. What made this interaction particularly awkward and simultaneously fascinating was the significant language barrier between them. Carey spoke English, Cabrera spoke Spanish, and, according to reports, an agent was facilitating communication between them. This linguistic disconnect led to some genuinely bizarre exchanges that would be comedy gold if they weren't so uncomfortably real. When Carey asked Cabrera questions like, "Do you like living in America?" he responded with 7 years, indicating a fundamental misunderstanding of the question. These interactions were described across multiple sources as casual yet surreal, with Cabrera appearing relaxed while eating peanuts, seemingly unaware of how the footage might be perceived by the public. The controversy escalated when the videos were released online, sparking immediate speculation about the nature of their relationship. Initial reports from sources like NBC Miami, titled "Milkman Delivers to Porn Star's Hotel Room," and BuzzFeed's "Interviewed by a Porn Star," detailed the unusual nature of their interaction, with many initially mistaking the footage for something far more explicit than it actually was. According to reports, they made 3 or 4 videos together, all maintaining this strange interview format. The setting raised eyebrows throughout the baseball community, with sports blogs like yanksgoyard.com humorously noting Carey's introduction of Cabrera in the video, while forum discussions on bigblueinteractive.com included critiques of Cabrera's appearance and questions about Carey's motives. What made this situation even more complicated was Cabrera's agent's reaction to the video's release. According to reports, the agent attempted to have the videos removed from YouTube, but the request was refused, indicating that the publicity was having an impact that extended beyond mere curiosity. This failed attempt at damage control only served to increase interest in the videos and speculation about their content. The most explosive claims came later when Carey alleged in a radio interview with Carmichael Dave on KHTK Radio that Cabrera had smashed her, implying a physical relationship beyond the recorded interviews. However, these claims were met with significant skepticism, partly due to Carey's background in adult films and her tendency to make sensational statements for publicity purposes. The relationship was later characterized by some sources as a fling, but the evidence suggests it was more of a brief, publicized interaction rather than a serious romantic relationship. The media coverage often framed it as a scandal, playing up the contrast between Cabrera's role as a professional athlete and Carey's background in adult entertainment. Interestingly, Cabrera was moved to the minor leagues a week after their interactions, though it remains unclear whether this was related to the controversy or simply a baseball decision based on his performance. The timing, however, added fuel to speculation that the team was trying to distance itself from any potential scandal. The aftermath of this interaction reveals much about how celebrity gossip operates in the digital age. While the controversy generated significant media attention at the time, it appears to have had minimal long-term impact on Cabrera's career. He continued playing professional baseball and later faced more serious controversies, including his involvement in the 2012 biogenesis scandal, which overshadowed his earlier personal controversies. For Mary Carey, this interaction aligned with what appeared to be a broader strategy of maintaining public relevance through associations with high-profile figures from various industries. Her dating history includes relationships with other public figures, suggesting a pattern of associating with celebrities that may have been as much about career advancement as personal attraction. Wilson Contreras. Wilson Eduardo Contreras, born on May 13, 1992, in Puerto Cabello, Venezuela, had established himself as one of baseball's most promising catchers by 2017. His journey from a teenage signee with the Chicago Cubs to a World Series champion in 2016 had been nothing short of remarkable. Currently with the St. Louis Cardinals, Contreras had built a reputation as a passionate player whose intensity on the field was matched only by his dedication to the game. His multiple all-star selections and consistent offensive production from the catcher position made him one of the most valuable players in the league. On a very different path to fame, Mia Khalifa had exploded into global attention in 2014 through a brief but highly controversial career in adult entertainment. Her brief but highly publicized career in adult entertainment during late 2014 had made her one of the most searched performers on major adult websites, particularly due to a controversial scene involving religious imagery that drew global attention and significant backlash from various communities. Following her departure from the adult industry, she had successfully transitioned into sports commentary, webcam modeling, and advocacy work for sex workers' rights, while maintaining a substantial social media presence. The incident that would forever link these two figures began in August 2017, during a period when Contreras found himself sidelined with a strained hamstring and placed on the disabled list. While recovering from his injury, Contreras initiated contact with Khalifa through direct messages on X, beginning with a simple "Hi, how are you?" on August 4, 2017. What followed was a series of increasingly persistent messages that would eventually become the subject of widespread public discussion and analysis. The content of Contreras' messages revealed a pattern of behavior that many would find both endearing and concerning. His messages included expressions of admiration such as "I'm sure you get this a lot, but I'm big fan of you," accompanied by emojis, and earnest pleas for acknowledgement like "It will be great if you just say hi." The tone of these messages suggested genuine admiration rather than any overtly sexual or inappropriate advances, painting a picture of a professional athlete who was perhaps more starstruck than predatory. Khalifa's responses to these initial overtures were notably minimal and dismissive. Her sole response to Contreras' multiple messages was a curt "bye," which most would interpret as a clear signal that she was not interested in continuing the conversation. However, this rejection did not deter Contreras, who continued to send messages over the following weeks, demonstrating either remarkable persistence or a troubling inability to read social cues. The persistence of Contreras' communication became evident through subsequent messages sent on August 11th and 14, including casual greetings like "LOL, good morning," "good afternoon," and "me friend," along with well wishes such as "I hope you're doing good." The situation reached its explosive climax on September 5th, 2017, when Khalifa made a decision that would transform this private interaction into a public spectacle. Frustrated by Contreras' persistence and perhaps recognizing an opportunity for viral content, Khalifa shared screenshots of their entire conversation on X, accompanying the images with a baseball-themed caption: "Cubbies, your mans is wandering around left field. Can you come get him? 8 Cubs." The immediate aftermath of the viral post created a crisis management situation for Contreras and his representation. Within hours of the post going viral, Contreras' agency, Octagon Baseball, issued a statement claiming that his X account had been hacked, a common defensive strategy in such scenarios. Dan Ugler. Dan Ugler, born on March 11, 1980 in Louisville, Kentucky, was an accomplished second baseman who had earned recognition, including the Silver Slugger Award in 2010 and 3 All-Star Game selections during his time with teams like the Florida Marlins and Atlanta Braves. B.B. Jones, born Brittany Macklin on July 23, 1991 in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, entered the adult film industry at just 19 years old, signing with Digital Playground in December 2010 and quickly becoming one of the most recognizable performers in the industry. The scandal broke wide open in October 2011 when B.B. Jones appeared on The Toucher and Rich Show on Boston radio station WBZ-FM. What started as a discussion about her meeting with New England Patriots tight end Rob Gronkowski quickly expanded into explosive revelations about her interactions with multiple MLB players, including Dan Ugler. During the radio interview, Jones revealed that she had been used by sports agent Terry Bross of Gaylord Sports Management to recruit MLB players. According to her account, this wasn't a casual arrangement, it was a deliberate strategy. Bross would take her to bars after Arizona Diamondbacks games in the spring and summer of 2010 to meet players, positioning her as what she described as arm candy to help attract potential clients to his agency. The most shocking aspect of Jones's revelations was her claim that she ended up sleeping with over 10 MLB players, including Dan Ugler specifically. She emphasized in interviews that while it wasn't expected for her to have sex with the players, she did so willingly, stating, "It was just like I was arm candy for him. I was the one that wanted to hook up with these guys." The timeline of events surrounding Ugler's involvement is particularly compelling. Jones claimed their encounter occurred in 2010, likely during a road trip to Phoenix, where Bross and Jones were reportedly active in their recruitment efforts. Remarkably, Ugler switched agents to join Bross on July 28, 2010, just 3 weeks after a road trip that aligned with Jones's timeline, suggesting a possible connection between their encounter and his business decision. The revelation sent shockwaves through the sports world, with media outlets like Black Sports Online and UPI quickly picking up the story. Social media exploded with discussion, including posts on X that reflected public fascination with the connection between athletes and adult film stars. What made this scandal particularly complex was the ethical implications for sports representation. The controversy raised serious questions about whether Bross's actions violated MLBPA regulations regarding improper inducements, though no concrete legal outcomes were ever reported. Sports agent ethics blogs debated whether using personal relationships as recruitment tools crossed professional boundaries. Jones specifically mentioned that some of the athletes she encountered were married, raising additional questions about Ugler's marital status at the time. While Ugler later married Jeanette Repsch in December 2013 and has children from a previous marriage, the exact timeline of his earlier relationships remains unclear from public records. The response from the accused parties was notably muted. Bross declined to comment on the allegations through his agency's lawyer, and there is no public record of Ugler ever addressing Jones's claims directly. This silence left the allegations uncontested but unverified, creating a situation where the story lived in a grey area of sports gossip and serious ethical concerns. Despite the explosive nature of the allegations, the scandal did not appear to have significant long-term professional repercussions for Ugler, who continued playing until 2015 and maintained an estimated net worth of $34 million. For Jones, this incident was part of a series of high-profile associations that increased her visibility in the adult industry before her retirement and brief return in 2012-2013. The controversy also highlighted Bross's agency practices, though specific long-term consequences for Gaylord Sports Management are not detailed in available records. Bross later became vice president of baseball at Lagardère Unlimited after Gaylord Sports was acquired, suggesting that the scandal did not end his career in sports representation. Darvish, born August 16, 1986, had already established himself as one of Japan's premier pitchers before making his transition to Major League Baseball. His career achievements include what would eventually become a remarkable journey through teams like the Texas Rangers, Los Angeles Dodgers, Chicago Cubs, and currently the San Diego Padres. Kirara Asuka, born October 2, 1988, debuted as an AV actress in December 2007 with Miracle Beauty Breast, and later expanded into modeling, acting, and singing, notably with groups like Ebisu Muscats, making her one of Japan's most recognizable adult entertainment figures. The rumored relationship began around 2012, shortly after Darvish's divorce from his first wife, Seiko, was finalized in January 2012. The timing was crucial. Darvish was navigating both personal upheaval and the enormous pressure of transitioning to MLB, making him particularly vulnerable to media scrutiny about his personal life. Reports suggest their initial contact was via X, with Darvish reaching out to Asuka, leading to real-life meetings. This digital-to-physical progression was typical of celebrity interactions in the social media age, but the cultural context made it particularly noteworthy in Japan, where the intersection of sports celebrities and AV actresses was uncommon and highly scrutinized. The evidence for their relationship comes from multiple documented public sightings that painted a picture of genuine romantic involvement. Media coverage from 2012 highlighted several instances of their togetherness, including Asuka being seen wearing a Nippon Ham uniform at Darvish's games in the capital region, a public display of support that was impossible to ignore. They were spotted dining together multiple times, and eyewitness accounts placed them together in Roppongi in December 2011, before Darvish's MLB move, suggesting their relationship predated his transition to American baseball. Perhaps most significantly, reports included detailed accounts of intimate encounters, including a one-night stay at a high-class hotel in Hakone and a night together in a Sapporo hotel after a press conference. These weren't casual public appearances, but private moments that suggested a deeper personal connection. On February 9, 2012, Darvish visited Asuka's mansion for about an hour, a detail that was captured by observant neighbors and reported in Japanese media, indicating private meetings that went beyond professional or casual social interactions. The public response to their relationship revealed interesting cultural dynamics. In February 2012, during a press event for the film Futari Ecchi the Movie 2: Second Kiss, Asuka was directly asked about about her relationship with Darvish. Her response was masterfully ambiguous. She did not deny the relationship, responding with, "What can I say?" And when asked about a potential sexual encounter, she giggled and said, "Not a chance," leaving the true nature of their relationship open to interpretation. This ambiguity persisted throughout 2012, with media speculating on their interactions based on X posts and public sightings. The relationship existed in that gray area between confirmed romance and persistent rumor, with both parties maintaining enough distance to avoid complete confirmation while never fully denying the connection. What makes this story particularly intriguing is how it evolved over time. By 2015, when questioned again about Darvish, Asuka claimed not to know him, saying, "Who is that?" in response to inquiries about contact, suggesting that any relationship had ended completely, or that she wished to distance herself from past associations as her career evolved beyond adult entertainment. The cultural context of this relationship cannot be overstated. In Japan, the adult video industry operates within different social parameters than in the United States, but the intersection with professional sports still carried significant social implications. Reports also mentioned supposed possessive behavior, such as Asuka unfollowing Dutch soccer player Rio Yasuda on X at Darvish's request, suggesting a level of emotional investment that went beyond casual dating. The relationship's timeline coincided with some of the most challenging periods in both of their careers. For Darvish, 2012 represented his rookie year in MLB, where he faced enormous pressure to justify the significant investment the Texas Rangers had made in bringing him from Japan. For Asuka, this period represented her peak visibility in the adult entertainment industry before her eventual transition toward more mainstream entertainment and influencer work. The media coverage often described their meetings using terms like hot spring secret meeting, adding an element of romantic intrigue that captured public imagination. These reports detailed intimate encounters that suggested genuine emotional connection rather than casual celebrity hookups. Following 2012, Darvish's career progressed significantly, and in 2016, he married Seiko Yamamoto, a former world champion wrestler, with whom he has built a stable family life. This progression suggests that whatever relationship existed with Asuka was indeed a transitional period in his personal life, rather than a lasting commitment. The evidence suggests that Darvish and Asuka had a genuine romantic relationship in 2012, characterized by public sightings, private meetings, and emotional investment from both parties. However, like many celebrity relationships that exist under intense media scrutiny, it appears to have been relatively brief, lasting only during Darvish's transitional period between his Japanese and American careers. If you enjoyed this video, click on the boxes playing on your screen to